Hello everybody, it's Christina from the Glaser Tutoring Company, and today we're going to be solving the system of equations by the substitution method. Okay, so here we have a system of equations, right? A system is just basically two equations or more, two or more equations that you're going to be using together, right? They have some relation to each other. Or maybe they don't, but we'll see. Now, we have to solve by substitution. Now, especially when we have to solve systems of equations, we want to find the solutions, obviously. And the solutions come from a point. So all we're doing here is we're just trying to find out the x, comma, y values. Now you might say, Christina, well, how does that even, what does that even tell me? Well, just know that these, in this case, these are two linear lines. Right, I just see an x value. It's not like x squared or, y squared. So they have linear lines, and the solution here would be the point in which they come together. So that's basically what you're solving for. You're solving for this point that's on a graph. Now, we only can do that by substitution. Now, the first step for doing this method by substitution is you want to try to find one equation in which we can quickly and easily turn the equation into x equals or y equals. It doesn't matter which one. It's all about easiness here, right? So I scan these two equations and I say, which one would it be the easiest to manipulate? Well, I got 3 y's, I got 2 x's, I got 3 y's, but I have 1 x. So this is the one that is called for. We are going to, in this case, take this first equation and we're going to turn it into an x equal. Usually you're always going to want to pick the variables that have a 1 in front of it, right? Because then you don't have to divide by 2, you don't have to divide by 3. So we're going to take equation number 1, we'll call this equation number 1, and equation number 2, and we're going to take equation number 1, and which is x plus 3y equals 5, and we're going to try to solve for x equals, which means that I got to push all this other stuff on the opposite side. So just undo what is being done, right? If I want to get x by itself, I have to subtract 3y, and I have to do that on both sides. So 3 y's go bye-bye, and now if we add this together, we get x equals, just like that, 5 minus 3y. Now, whichever one that you worked with, so in this case it was equation number 1, the next step has to be the other equation. So once you work with one equation, you're not going to be doing it for the next step. So since we use the first equation to manipulate x equals, now I'm going to use the second equation. So I'm going to pull in 2x plus the 3y equals 4. And here is the substituting part. Remember that the x value that we just called for is 5 minus 3y. So in here, the whole idea is that you can't have two different variables. I have to eliminate one. And the x value, and maybe what I can do is, because we love colors here, we'll say x equals 5 minus 3y. What we're going to do is we're going to take that x value and plop in 5 minus 3y. So that's all you're doing. You're taking this x value, that's going bye-bye, and this value is now coming in. So let's just represent that. So now we have 2 times, well, what was the x value? It was 5 minus 3y. Close that up, that's the x value, right? That was this guy. And now it's here, right? And now the rest of the equation comes along for the ride. So plus 3y equals 4. And we officially have done our substitution. Now we just have to use our PEMDAS to basically find out the y's. So we're going to do a little bit of distributing here, my favorite. So we distribute the 2 times 5 is 10. 2 times 3 is a negative 6y. 2 times a negative 3, right? Negative 6y plus 3y equals 4. Okay, let's group together the y values, right? And keep in mind that you need to take into consideration that negative there, right? Because it's a negative 6. So we got 10 minus 3y equals 4. Let's just quickly keep going. Minus 10 on both sides, minus 10 on both sides. We are getting it now. Let's add these up. And now we have a negative 3y. Let's see, can I move this a little bit up? Whoop! Can we move it up a little bit? Yay! And what I'm going to do is I forgot to say that this one was equation 2. Okay. Now negative 3y equals 4 minus 10 is a negative 6. We are on the right track here. Divide by negative 3. That cancels out. Goodbye. And now we found our y value. Y equals 2. Negative 6 divided by 3, or negative 6 divided by a negative 3, is a 2. So we found half of the puzzle. We know that this y value is now going to be a 2. So now what do? Well, let's bring this over. And the last step, and maybe what I'll do is I'll just bring this a little down. Maybe I'll bring this over here. And then we will just move this. Whee! Okay. Now the next step is the final step, which is, so step 2 was plug in. And then step 3 now, you're basically just going to go back to whichever one you want. It doesn't matter. Just make it as easy as possible to plug in your y values, right? So maybe we'll just, we don't need the steps, right? You guys got this. So it seems to me like the first one is the easiest. So I'm going to say x plus 3y equals 5. And the y value, which we just solved for, is 2. So that way we can find out the x value. So x plus 3 times that 2 equals 5. Let's put in that 2 in red. And then there we go. X plus 6 equals 5. Minus 6 on both sides. These cancel out. And now we are left with our y value. Actually, our x value. X equals 5 minus 1 is a... I just gave you the answer. 5 minus 6 is a negative 1. And that is our solution. So solve, well, the point that we solved for is x comma y, so it's negative 1 comma 2. And that is the answer. So you have an x value of negative 1, you got a y value of 2. That is your ordered pair that solves this solution. And that's it. What'd you think? I hope this helped. Thank you so much for viewing the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Yeah, just helps the channel out, get the word out there that this channel exists. Thank you so much, and I hope to be talking to you in future lessons. Keep studying hard. Good luck on those tests and quizzes, and I'll talk to you soon, okay? All right, bye-bye.